Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being a bit patient with me this morning. My computer crashed and I was like, oh, why is it not turning on? So I'm here now. Thanks for hanging out a couple extra minutes. How is everybody doing today? Hello, hello. Ooh, look at all these friends. Hello, everybody. All right. So we're just going to jump right into it. Go ahead and type into the chat anything you'd like to be coached around. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Good morning. I am dressed for summer. It's warm here. Okay. Okay, go ahead, type anything you'd like to be coached around into the chat. Oh, yeah, we should look at that, huh? Okay. I'm gonna pull up Sarah. That's right. I didn't forget, but that's a that's gonna be interesting. I've been curious. Okay. Let's get you up here.
We go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Oh, you typed it to host some panels down to everyone. Great question. So she says, you made an observation linking my age with my frustration with weight loss. I would like to bring that around to resolution if possible. I think I have a fear that I've wasted my life. That's what she had typed into the chat. And I do remember you so graciously being a great demo subject for me during Activate. Okay. So I am excited to jump into this. So, what is the most important thing for us to talk about today?
Um, so I've been thinking a lot about this since the observation and trying to do my own thing. And you can't coach yourself always. So yeah, I I think that I have a concern that like anything that I do now is never going to be, I don't have enough time to actually make it worth it to actually build uh things things whether that's business or like I sort of feel bad about like the idea like I'd love to have a long-term relationship, but I'm like, oh, I don't get to be one of those people who ends up with a friendship or a partnership or a life, like a spouse of 40 years. That's I probably won't live that long at this point, like I don't get to have that sort of thing. And um so it's kind of relational, it's kind of financial. Like I'm like, I have got to get my act together financially. I'm still living like a college student and I'm in my 50s. So yeah, is that's a presenting problem.
Love it. Okay, so then what would you like to have at the end of today?
I think I would like if I could have an understanding of like how all of this ageism, oh my God, I'm an ageist. How this ageism is affecting me and how I might could move beyond that.
Okay, so what are you going to have when you have that understanding and you move past it?
I think I will have like a forward looking sort of idea instead of a past looking, oh, woe is me, I've wasted, 2/3 of my life or whatever it is.
Okay. And what is it that you want to think about yourself or feel about yourself when you're in that forward looking attitude or thinking?
Excuse me. I would like to have, what would I like to have? I would just like to be excited about my future. I would like to, yeah, I'd like to be really excited about my future.
Cool.
Is that enough?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being I'm the most excited person you've ever met, where would you say you're at excited about your future now?
Ugh, 5. Always a
Okay.
fair to Midland person. So yeah, 5.
And what number do you want to be at the end of the call?
I'd love to be a 9.
Love it. And when you think about being a 9, in being so excited about your future, in that forward looking attitude and thinking, you know what that feels like, looks like, sounds like, is in your body.
Um, well, I think it would be like, okay, a 9 would look like, well, a 9, just a couple things. I guess like a 9 would be that I actually get up in the morning and I don't sit there and dawdle in bed. I'd actually have like things to do and like be like, let's get her done. Um, I think it would look like, most of my friends are at least 15 years younger than me, and it's been that way for a long time. And I see what they're doing, and I go, what I'm doing needs to look different because, like, I would be doing what they're doing, 15, 20 years ago, but now I've got different needs and different future,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't necessarily know how and what that should be like. So I guess sort of an ability to stop comparing. Like I actually apologize. Like, oh my God, how often I'm just like, because I'm old. And I'll just like that is the phrase I say at the end of so many sentences, because I'm old. And and people just like her, she's so cute because she is, because like because everybody's 15 to 20 years younger than me in my world. So and they aren't my children, they're my best friends. So anyways,
Okay. So, how is it a problem that there's a larger age gap between you and your friends?
in a lot of ways I think it kind of keeps me younger, so that's a good thing. And um it also means that like some of the things that I am going through they can't relate to. So often I'm having to jump into their world and I'm trying to keep up with their needs and their metabolism and their level of energy, and I don't have that, whether that is from age or whether that's from illness or whether that's from whatever it's from, so I feel like I'm also often jumping into their world.
Okay. How's that a problem if you're the one jumping into their world trying to keep up with them?
Because I cross contextualized, Isabella. This is where I feel like I have mostly jumped into other people's worlds for a lot of my life, where it's like, And then when I have tried to create my own world and be like, hey, who wants to come along with me? It's like crickets. Nobody, everybody's like, okay, cool, we're going to do this other thing over here. You're welcome to come with us. And so if I don't want to be lonely, um, I'm like, okay, I need to go do what they do. Um, and I think maybe the oldness is that feeling that like I'm running out of time to create my own world.
So if you do create your own world and it's just crickets, what are you afraid of if you stay in your own world?
I think I feel lonely. What am I, but I don't know if that's what I'm afraid of. Maybe I am. I think I'm also afraid of just having wasted my life, that like if I'm not in other people's world, if I'm like it just sort of feels like, I don't know, to really hyperbolic the situation, I imagine myself like on my deathbed and like no one's there and I die alone and like they're like, Sarah who? Oh, that's nice. I'm a 3 sentence line in an obituary somewhere.
Can I state an observation slash ask a question that's super random?
Of course.
How often do you feel like you live your life for other people, if at all?
Less so now.
Okay.
Um, less so in the last 8 years, I would say, if I'm doing my math right, 2017, 2016. Um, and I have never been more lonely.
What role do you play when you're in like your friends' world and they're younger and you're keeping up with them? What role do you play in that world?
Always some sort of support role. Um, some sort of, at this point, it's kind of a mama bear, um, which I like the idea. I don't mind the idea of being a mama bear. I just also want to be a mama bear in my terms, not just like I'll step into theirs. So
And what do you feel you gain when you're in their worlds?
purpose.
Anything else?
Friends. I mean, I'm not alone. Um, I gain maybe significance, like a reason to use oxygen on this planet, use a phrase I've used before.
What's your definition of purpose?
to have made a positive change to help someone I don't know, to help someone know and be loved. Know that they are and to be loved.
What's your definition of love?
To know that you are accepted. To know I don't know, to know that the other person, you know, to know that the other person really values you.
How is value determined?
Um, Value is determined by just what that other person sees. If they see it as value, then there's value. Of course, sometimes let's see here. Yeah, it's mostly a feeling.
How do you determine value?
Do I determine value? I mean, if I'm able to determine that the other person feels accepted, loved, seen, heard, if they feel valued, then that to me is value.
I see an observation.
No, of course you may.
Okay, so all of those definitions are outside of yourself. Not one of those definitions has anything to do with you. It's all about you're determining how you feel based on somebody else. So, like with purpose, right? To have made a positive change to help someone know that they are and to be loved. It's outside of yours. It's about somebody else. You know that you have purpose when you've done that for somebody else. Love. The first part, right, is I was like, yes, we're inside. Cool. Right. To know you're accepted. And then to know that the other person really values you. I was like, okay, we're not totally there. We're not totally inside, right? Because now there's another person. Okay, how's this other person determining value, right? It's like, well, it's just whatever they see. It's not up to you. So there's no control over if you get love or not. And then how you determine value is if you're able to determine that the other person feels something accepted, seen, heard, loved, valued.
Right. All of it's relational.
Yes.
So
You
there
don't
is
have
the,
anything
there
for
is the
yourself.
but there is the aspect of the other person. So that's what I've never been able to reconcile in my head, is that love isn't just a one-way street. You
Yeah.
there has to be this I think, doesn't there? I mean,
Yes, and. Yes, and. Yes, and. Yes, and.
drop your wisdom, Isabella.
Yes, and. And do you notice how none of those definitions are about you?
Yes,
So what comes up for
kind of.
you when you know that?
I mean, shit, I haven't really gotten to the core of my people pleasing.
Can I continue my observation a little bit?
Please do.
Okay. I from this makes me think that I'm not as much living my life for other people as much. I'm like, well, there's still a little bit there. This is still for other people.
I mean,
So,
I guess that's where I get my value is like is when I know that other people.
which makes it hard for you to go off and create your own world and be in your own world, because if it's just you at first to get started, you have no purpose, you have no love, and you have no value if it's just you in your little world.
Right.
And it sounds like that's something you do want because you're worried about running out of time to create it. So you want it. You said you wanted it. Because if you didn't want it, you wouldn't be worried about running out of time to make it. So setting the age stuff aside for a second, how can you know that you have purpose within yourself?
Now I'm second guessing it because it would still be an external thing. It would be
Just say it out loud. It's okay.
like the other person would then be like my higher power, the, God, spirit, universe that I'd be pleasing. I'd have to, like the value would be if if they saw that there was value in what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want you to close your eyes. And I'm purely having you close your eyes because I want you to just feel.
So don't be snarky. Got it.
Well, I want you to feel. When I say the word purpose, where in your body do you feel purpose? If at all.
It was like there was like something, it was like, I guess the first thought that I had was like kind of like in my sternum and then just below my sternum and then like also in my head, and then there was like a light that connected all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
The head, that's your conscious mind. That's where you think you're thinking about how to get purpose. You're thinking about how, right? You're processing it. So I want to go look down here in like your sternum area, below your sternum, in your belly button area, your solar plexus, your sacral, your identity centers, right? The places that make you you. So if you could describe what purpose is, If you could describe what purpose is in that area, how would you describe it?
I mean, the words that come to mind is just to love.
Okay. So now, where do you find and feel love in your body?
I mean, kind of in that, I guess, in that same place, somewhere between my heart and my sternum again.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because if love is kind of connected to that purpose and to that identity center, that it would feel like it's coming from your heart chakra all the way down to your sacral. So now, if you were to look into that feeling of love in that heart space where your heart chakra is and your solar plexus and your sacral, if you were to describe love, how do you know that you have love within yourself?
I mean, I guess it's just a feeling, a sense of peace and groundedness. But it's still somehow relational.
Okay. How specifically?
Well, like I have to receive that love from someone.
Yes.
I mean, I might could receive it from myself, but
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like I guess like love is something that you receive from like from like God.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I could get pretty spiritual here and okay, so if love is from God, right? And God is in everything and you. Does that not mean that you love yourself in the same way that God loves you? Because you are part of him.
Yes, and
Okay?
um like I can love myself, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm valuable to the world.
Okay. No, that's fine. Those are two different definitions. Cool. I just need to know that you can have love within yourself.
Sure,
Values
absolutely.
next. We did purpose, we did love, now we're on to value. I was working through
Okay.
all of them.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Okay, gotcha. No, I'm
Glad
good
we're
with
on the
loving
same.
myself.
Great. Like you can
Jeff must
find,
think I have purpose.
you can have that sense of peace and groundedness in yourself, knowing that your purpose is to love, to spread and give that sense of peace and groundedness out into the world. Cool. Next is value. Close your eyes. Go back. Go back.
This may be the big one.
Mm-hmm. So value, where, if at all, do you feel value in your body?
kind of at the top of my heart,
Okay.
like my collarbone,
Okay,
maybe.
perfect.
I don't know.
So
Value.
like right, or like almost right in between throat chakra and heart chakra. Okay. So now, if you were to describe that feeling, that value right in here, how would you describe it?
I don't know. It keeps shifting colors.
Okay, what colors is it shifting between?
Green and orange and brown and
So what does it represent to you that it's shifting colors?
no idea. I think it feels it's like at first it was like, ooh, value, it should be a good thing. And then the longer I kind of looked at it, I was like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's the blech? What about value makes it ugh?
Value feels transactional. It's hard. Value is something I don't actually have. I guess just keep grasping for. Yes, I just heard that. Um, yeah, value is something I have to just think so hard about to get it right.
Okay. Clarifying question, just for information. Do you believe that value can be inherent? Or is it something that always has to be earned?
Kind of a both and.
Okay, that's good.
Uh,
I'll take it.
okay.
I'll
Like I
take
think
it.
that people in general or beings in general have value just for being,
Mhm.
but the value, there's also the doing aspect of value. Um, like I love you, Isabella, but I'm not gonna pay you just to like exist. Like, but I do love you. I would like cry out if you were in a burning building or something like that because I value you as a human. You know what I mean? So like there's this both and component of what value is.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Is your definition of worth the same or different than value?
Huh. It may be this, it may, well, maybe my dual definition of value, one is actually worth, and then value is the transactional side of it.
Flip it.
But
Flip it.
flip it, worth
The
is what?
value is the value is the inherent one. Like you
Oh,
have value
value is in,
just being a human being, but your worth is determined by what you do
really?
or not. They could be different. I'm just curious. They could be your worth is inherent, but your value is determined by what you do. I will take either.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of more
That
how
one.
I
Okay,
have always
so
done. Yeah, worth is like, you are worth it just because you were born.
okay. So worth is inherent, but value is transactional. It's based on what you do. It's based on action.
Yeah.
Got it. According to who?
Um, according to whoever is assigning the value.
Okay, well, right now that's you.
According to whoever I got the idea that I need to assign the value.
Right now that's you.
Oh, let's see here. Okay. Well, I see value as when I'm helping other people.
Okay. Okay. So, what would you take it to mean about yourself if you didn't help anybody? If you stopped helping people?
Well, the first thought was I'd be worthless, but we already discussed worth versus value. So shit. But maybe that's my own observation is maybe like I say there's inherent worth, but maybe I don't really believe that.
You know what it also tells me? That your definitions for worth and value are probably way more similar than you think.
Probably.
How would it be a problem if you just helped yourself and didn't help others?
Well, in a lot of respects, I feel like that is what I've been doing a lot just in the last year or so of attempting to get out of this, deep dark depression that I've been in. And I feel like, okay, I'm out of that. So now what?
Mm-hmm.
And I always come back to, so now what can I give back? What can I bring? What can I bring to the world? And then I sometimes get stuck because then I'm like, hey, this is what I find valuable. And then people are like, cool, peace out, so then I'm like, oh, okay. So what do you find valuable? We'll just get back into your world. Um, so I don't know how to reconcile the two. I don't want to be alone. And I feel like if I'm just doing my jam, it kind of leads to isolation and loneliness. How do I bring people into that without making them step into my world? Because that's what I don't want to like also, like
You're not going to like the answer.
why can't worlds just go together kind of like an ikigai, like whatever diagram that is, where circles overlap,
The Venn diagram. You're not going to like the answer.
Oh,
You have to embrace the loneliness. You have to embrace being alone. That's the not me. The not me that Jen talks so much about and all the things and all the things. That's the not me. you have to embrace the thing you're resisting the most. That's where you're going to find your true value and worth.
So my not me is being okay alone.
Is embracing it. Yeah. Not to say that there's
How?
going to be thoughts and emotions that come up.
Ooh, indeed. So devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I really tried to embrace my inner introvert. Not that there is much of one. During COVID, I kind of lived alone and lived somewhere where I knew no one, so there was very alone. Um, how do you go about embracing that without? Well, how do you go about embracing that? Like, what are the steps to do the not me?
Well, the first thing is this is now by choice. Before wasn't so much by choice.
Well, it was because I moved somewhere I didn't, and I was like, I can do this.
Yes, and then the world shut down, and that part you didn't have much choice in.
True, true.
This one, right? When I say embrace being alone, really what I'm saying is, Sarah, embrace the things that you like to do and stop giving a freaking rat's ass about what other people think about it. Do it because you value it, not because somebody else does. That's what I mean by embrace being alone. Because you're saying when you create your own world, right? Nobody, and you're like, look at, I value this thing. And you bring it to people and they're like, well, we're going to be over here. So if you want to join us here because this is more valuable, and you're like, okay. And you just drop it and you come over here. When I say embrace being alone, it's find the things that you value and do them. Create the world. Do the things. And it doesn't matter what other people think. If somebody else values it, great. And if they don't, great.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I liked Kate's question in there. How do you do that and make money? Two separate situations.
Not really.
Not really. No, of course not.
No. No,
Okay.
of course not. Of course not. Because if you're doing the things that you value and you don't care, now, when I say not other people value it, right? It's not like, here's my coaching program here. And people are like, no, not really. Not that. It's it's in a different area of life first. You need to embrace it in your self-expression. Your self-expression, you need to value the things that you value. Then by the time you bring that, cross contextualize it into your business, you will have become the not me and will start attracting people who value what you value. So
What if
you're
I
going
don't value being alone?
huh?
If I don't value being alone.
That's the not me. That's what you're resisting. Of course you don't value it.
But I want to do what I value.
Yes, and you're going to do the things that you value. I don't like to use the word consequence, but like the outcome is it might result in there not being other people there. That you have to embrace that. I say have to. I don't mean to use like universal quantifiers, but it's like that's the thing you deserve to embrace. Is I can do the things that I want to do in your self-expression. So I'm talking about your area of life of self-expression, right? Because that's friends, hobbies, things you value, the way you dress, the way you do your hair, like all the things, right? It's all self-expression. So I'm talking about in self-expression, creating the world that you want to, doing the things that value you, your hobbies, your interests, random fun activities you want to go do on the weekends or not go do on the weekends. If you're like, I just want to stay home, like for me, I would love to do like a 24-hour readathon where I just get a group of people together and we do nothing but read for 24 hours, see how many books we can get through. I'm probably the only person who values that right now, but that's okay. Because you know what? I'll just do it by myself first.
Yeah.
And then I could talk about how amazing and exciting it is. And then other people could be like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I can cross contextualize it into my life. You don't have to start out with cross contextualization. This is separate from business right now, separate from money. Once you can embrace that in your self-expression, it will come naturally in business and money, where you can then attract people.
So I used to do that. I used to be like, well, I'm going to do it alone because clearly I can't seem to find the people who would want to do things that I don't think is necessarily like, there are actually meetup groups that are doing these things. And I go to the meetup groups. And then when I say, hey, do you want to come with me? Like outside of the meetup group, it's like, meh. And so I just like, I used to do that. And at some point, COVID, um, it's like I hit a limit and I just was like, it's not worth it anymore to do it alone. If it's not going to be with someone, I'm not going to do it. And I just kind of hit a limit.
So that's your neurology, which is totally normal, right? Your neurology at one point was like, I could do all these things by myself. And then you were like, I crave community, which is normal. That's just the normal path of neurology. So there's nothing wrong with that. And in what we're talking about here, you're not sacrificing yourself to go fit in with a community somewhere else, and you're having to sacrifice. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to fit in, to have community. You deserve to build your community. The first step to doing that is it might start out by yourself and you will build it. So I'm not saying it's be alone forever. It's stop sacrificing yourself to fit in somewhere where you're not wanting to. Go do the things you value. And it's like at first, it might just be you. And then maybe one other person will join. And then there's 5 people. And then the next thing you know, you've built your community. So I'm not saying it's never going to happen. It's just the process isn't plugging yourself into a community that already exists. Because that's what's not working for you.
Feel like I tried that on a few occasions. And it has fired.
How specifically?
Um, the disillusion of a 40-year friendship. Um, the the trying to embrace, doing things alone and living out of my car for 3 months and like 3 years in a different city going, I will build something else and never making a friend for those 3 years. Coming back to here, not back to here, but moving here and like, I'm going to start a homestead. And like, I did not want to start a homestead by myself, but I was like, ooh, I'm going to just do this by myself because this is what's being provided. I will find a way, even though I don't want to do it, by myself. And, death and illness and eminent domain later. And I'm like, I couldn't. I didn't, I didn't have the strength to keep going.
So a couple different things. One, that was a whole different version of who you are. You were not that same person. The Sarah that I met, gosh, how long has it been? I feel like it's been for us. I feel like it's been over a year, but I don't think it's been that long.
Not quite.
It really
No.
hasn't. It's been like just this year.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. I'm like, no, last February. No, that was this February. Completely different person, first off. You've grown and changed so much. Second, you needed to learn those things. Those are the lessons that you came here in this lifetime to learn. They just happened to be taught in that way. And those lessons that you learned got you to here, that are getting you to the next step and getting you to the next step. What would have happened if you didn't have to live in your car for 3 months? What parts of yourself would you not have realized were there? Or what would you not have realized what you were capable of if not for that time? Right? Things like that. And I'm not saying you have to be grateful for it all right now. And I'm not saying that all of it was sunshine and rainbows. And
Oh, I loved the time I lived in my car. It was great, except that I was completely lonely. It was the most lonely time of my life because I was completely in limbo and didn't know where I was going. And so,
so now it's switching the motivation for the community is really what this is. It's switching. It's the away from before was, I'm tired of freaking being alone. I need people, to I can accept and embrace being alone, and I want to have people in my life. You're changing your motivation. And it's like you said, there was the ending of a lot of things because away from motivation isn't sustainable. You rubber band back. And then you work hard, you work hard, you work hard, you work hard, and you're like pushing against the current, and you might get there and it snaps you back. And you're like, I've tried that, I've done this. So now it's different. Now you're switching your motivation to toward by saying, and I'm not saying you have to be alone for long. Like you could literally be alone for like a week and then somebody can come along. There is no time to this. It's just say but it has to be full embodiment. It's like it's like you're committing. It's not like you can like just dip your toe into the pool. It's like you're full on like plunging in and then getting out.
so I recognize that I am a very different person than I was when you and I met,
Mhm.
and very different than even, the year before that. And then I'll say there was a few years of stagnation. But I guess I don't know how to, like, all of what you're saying makes sense. And I don't know how to embrace it. And there's that, I guess it makes sense, but I don't know how to get rid of the part of me that goes, or how to embrace the part of me, or how to gently quiet the part of me. What, I don't know how I'm supposed to phrase this, of like the part of me that's just like, hells no. I don't like the part of me that's like, I'm not afraid of embracing being alone. It just feels very empty, and it feels like it's something that I've been trying to do in different times in different ways, and so I don't know what to do differently to embrace that.
So I love this call so much. I'm so excited. This went exactly how it needed to be. I want to give you tasking. And I want you to journal on you're gonna journal on like the good things about being alone and the bad things about being alone. And then the same thing with like having community. It's like the good things of having community and the bad things of having community. Because there are pros and cons to both.
Yes, there are.
So I want so right. And I know that you're not arguing about not embracing the aloneness, but you're like, I just don't know how to make it have a different outcome. And I get that. I see that. I hear you. I understand. That's it's just it's in your neurology right now. So when I can get my hands in your brain, it will be we can then go coach deeper and get release and have a release. And in our time today, I'm going to just leave you with tasking.
Yeah.
Because I want you to see all the things.
If I could have a release from not necessarily you, but from Activate alumni or what have you, what would that like, what would I be releasing? Or not to hurry the process because I'm happy to, but also
There would still be some more coaching. I would say going like whomever is coaching you, going down and looking at that journaling and saying, okay, these are the things. And essentially you're really looking at where's the conflict, because there's some conflict. It's looking at, okay, where's the conflict between wanting, like being able to embrace being alone and being okay with it and embracing and wanting the community. There's some conflict there. And then also looking at the cons of each, right? Okay, what in these cons, the cons of being alone are less than the cons of not having community, or the cons of like being in community. There's a like power imbalance almost, where it's like, I'd rather deal with these cons than these ones. So I want to know kind of like the extremes and things like that. And then whoever is coaching you, me or somebody else, going and looking at tying the age back in. Not that that's like a huge thing right now. And I know that that's kind of just this underlying kind of thread that's in some of the things. So at one point I would come back and tie in age and then see where that, I can't predict where that would go with all of the writing plus the age thing. I can't see that far into the future yet. Working on it. I know, right? And see where that takes, and then and kind of just keep following that path down. And then really looking into the negative thoughts and emotions, like what are the things that are keeping this neurology in there. And I would say if you are to get coached by somebody else, see if you can find somebody who has gone through at least Evolve, because they'll have an understanding of Graves' values and can understand the neurology between the like, I was okay being alone and now I need community. They can understand that shift in neurology. So that would just be like an extra bonus, but if you can't, then that's totally fine. You'll still get the same thing. It's just, it'll just be a little bit easier insight for the coach.
Sure.
And that's what I would say where you would take next.
Well, thank you, Isabella. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me pick in your brain for a little bit today.
Always a delight. You can pick in my brain whenever you'd like to.
Oh, thank you. Often. I love your brain. It's lots of fun. Okay. Do you feel whole and complete for this session right now? I don't want to leave you hanging. I know like we talked a little bit more at the end instead of coached a little bit more at the end, which is totally fine. But I want to like, do you feel whole and complete with what we talked about and the tasking and the steps forward and all of that?
Yeah, I think there's a thing that I can do. Yeah, the tasking is good.
Okay. And if you just want to like add in another layer to that, make a list of all the things that you value, that you want to do, your hobbies, your favorite things, and start doing them. Even if there's these little voices in your head that are telling you all of the things, make a list of the things that you value and start to create that world. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so I know some of y'all were hopping off, which is totally fine. I do just want to see if there are any questions. So Tina asked a question in here. She's like, so then that would go down into the C. It could, right? what it could do, or right now, is she is in the C. I haven't, like, I'm not quite sure where in the cycle. So like in that universal model of change, I would say she's probably in the C. I don't think it's a very deep C, but still in a C, because it's like doing it by myself didn't work. Like, I'm breaking my back over here. I don't know what to do. Right. So she's kind of just like in this like in between space. So I think now having like the more toward motivation in the embracing of all the things might be taking her up to D. Or it could be that this is her AB cycle and then it will put her into C. I'm not sure yet. But yes, great observations. Yeah, it's most likely the C. She has to embrace what she's resisting, which may not be fun for a minute. She's like, I don't want to do, actually, I've done this in the past and I didn't like the outcomes, and now I don't know how to change the outcomes. So it's embracing it and releasing the outcomes and all the things. Okay, any other questions? Awesome, I love it. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out a couple extra minutes with me. Thank you, Sarah, for letting me pick around in your brain. I appreciate it. I will see you guys. Will not see you next week. We are going to be running our health program. Woohoo! It's going to be so exciting. So for all my friends who are coming to health, I can't wait to see you. All right, everybody. Bye. I'll see you soon.